Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for Lissette's talk and demo today. I'm really very excited. Lissette was our mentee in the very first symbiosis, and here to support her are Judy, her co-mentee, and her mentor, Marina. All right, so good to have a reunion of everyone. And today I've asked Lissette to talk to us about her calligraphic art. And the reason why is because it kind of it aligns to the big theme that we have about how art can serve memory. You know, it is such a precious and a good way to remember. So Lissette has created a series of art based on her personal family history. And every time I see it, it just moves me. And I really would like for more people to be able to see her work. So today, I'm very pleased to introduce to you Lissette, a very excellent calligrapher from Lima, Peru. So Lissette, I'm going to spotlight you. Take it away.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you for this invitation. I'm very glad to share my work with you. Thank you for being here. We're going to start the presentation. I'm going to show you how I developed these three works that ended up being a series. And let's start. Okay, let me share my screen. Oh. Is it okay?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay. So I've titled the presentation Family Tree. These are three works that stand by themselves, but they are a whole. Okay, let's start with how we started. We had Marina was my mentor, Judith was my partner, and we started with choosing the theme. The theme was the garden. So we started thinking about a phrase that can show what we feel about gardens. So I chose the phrase that said, in my garden, there is a large place for sentiment. My garden of flowers is also my garden of thoughts and dreams. The thoughts are as freely as the flowers, and the dreams are as beautiful. I started making calligraphy with a brush pen. And as you can see, I also do my thing. I like to cut paper. So I started trying to make a grid with my calligraphy so I can trim it. And then I changed to the color pen because I feel more freedom writing with the color pen, and developed this alphabet, and then tried to make the calligraphy look like vines. Then I moved on to color. These were the first trials, trying to make the calligraphy look like hanging vines, and then exploring, trying to cut these empty spaces and give him a little color, resembling flowers. A little experiment, I scanned it and made prints and make it backwards. And then I started making these streams. So there came the first of the artworks. In our sessions, we shared a lot. We had love, we had tears. It was very emotional, a lot of things we shared. And one of the things we explored was what was the meaning of garden for us. For me, the garden remembered me of my mother. My mother, the bond we have, the things she taught me, all the conversations we had. And thinking about those conversations, I started exploring with a color pen, doing things like this. I thought about family as a whole and as each person as an individual. And I started thinking we are all being taught the same. When I speak with my sisters, with my brother, we all have a different memory of our mother. It's not, and I don't know if it's strange, it's curious, but we all have different memories. I remember my mother some way, my siblings remember them, they remember her differently. So I thought we were all raised the same, but we are all so different, besides sharing common ground. And that's where I came with this idea of picturing the family, while I was having an imaginary conversation with my mother. So I started writing. It's like, I'm going forward and backwards just to show you, sorry. Oh no, sorry, I messed up. Okay. So I started talking with my mother and making this. Is my arrow showing?
Yes, yes.
So the writing is, I write it sideways. And I started talking with my mother, writing like this. And making shapes, making like bushes. And I didn't realize when I made this, I realized it when it had already been, I had finished, that I made these twins, and my last nieces are twins, and I think I was kind of in a trance. Is it okay to say trance, Marina? I was in un trance.
Yeah, that's the translation, but what you want to say is that you were flowing in some way.
Yes,
you were not.
I was. Yeah, I wasn't thinking, I wasn't planning.
Yes.
So all this, the twins came up. The twins came up. Okay, and after I did this, there began the process to make it with color, change the size, make it with color. First, it was only green, then make a little. Marina suggested that I added color. We tried different materials. I didn't succeed. Different cloth. And for the ground, I was planning on doing this with a balsa wood. Yeah, I wrote my name, my mother's name, my grandfather's name, my grandmother's name, and so on. And I'm going to give up hidden words here. You can see on the roots, I think I haven't told anyone before this. In the roots, it says mom, but in Spanish, it says mama. Here's an M, here's an A, another M, and an A here, or here. Same here. It says ma, ma. And this is the final result. I can remember what I was talking with mom. I can read it, but it's all there. And then came the second artwork, a greenhouse. The one was for the family. This one is for me. With the vines I made, I thought of making a greenhouse with the trellis. First it was inside, and then I decided to make it like a real greenhouse. The trellis outside, inside you have color vines. And on the inside, I have all these trinkets. You see, those are my mother's trinkets. And there's a butterfly I used. I started experimenting with gold leaf. Deciding what calligraphy to use. I decided to use a font finally. And there you have it. In the center, a special place for me, for solace, for comfort, for remembering all the conversation I had with my mother. And it goes like this. The trellis, the vines, the golden place, and the most inner chamber with the butterfly that has my mother's memento. Go. And finally, I thought of making, I remembered a photo of my sister with her, well, this is the background I used. The original photo is this. It's for the photos for her engagement. I erased them and made it the background for my work. And this is a photo I was talking about. I think it's a very powerful photo. It's her and her kid going to in the day of her baptism. So I remember this photo and thought of making the silhouette. There are the main characters of the work. And I started experimenting with the vines I have made. I started trimming them. Use the background. The background of the book is hollow, so I can take advantage of the light going through. And I started planning all the layers and make it look like it was the treetops. And that's how I came with this. You can see it here when it's light, when the light is on top and when the light is from the back. It has like 6 layers of paper trimming. And I made this animation with all the layers. Some music is missing. Okay, and that's the body of works I made for during the Symbiosis mentoring program. And it turned out to be a group of work when I explored me, my sister, and all of us as family. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Wow, it's incredible. Thank you, Lissette. Do you I'm looking at hang on, I'm looking at the questions. There are not questions, there are a lot of comments. I should spotlight myself. Okay, so there were a lot of comments about Judith is remembering the process that she went through with you. And then there are comments about how you merge nature with your family. It's very good, very precious. The lighting effects. Yeah. So does anyone have questions for Lissette? I can, Lila says it's beautiful.
Oh, thank
I have
you.
a question.
Yes.
How
please.
long does the cutting take? That must take forever.
Yes, it takes a lot of time. Hi, Leila, how are you? Nice
I'm
seeing
well.
you.
How are you? It's good to see you. This is beautiful work. Amazing.
Thank you, Leila. Yes, it takes a lot of time. You have to be very patient. I'm going to make a demonstration today on how to make, you're gonna see me cutting, but very quickly.
Okay.
But
that would be great.
yeah, it takes hours. It takes hours. A friend asked me, "Do you use a Cricut?" No, I do it by hand, and it takes
I
forever.
saw,
But
I read something that you were gonna send the file or something. I didn't receive anything.
Oh,
though.
okay.
oh, I'll send it to you. Don't worry.
Okay, never
Okay.
mind.
That's good. Okay.
Me
Maybe
either.
we can put it here in the chat.
Yeah, I can do that.
In the chat, and then what, I downloaded,
Yes.
but I'm on my iPad. I rather by email if you don't mind.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
I'll
fine.
send it to you later. No worries.
Thank you.
Good, good. Lisa, do you want to, Eleanor has a question.
Yes, I have a question. Lisette, could you tell us how big these pieces are approximately?
I can show it to you.
Oh, even better.
Oh, beautiful.
It's hard to tell, you know, when you see it on the screen, it could be tiny and it could be.
It's like this. This is the last one. This is Janice's garden.
Ooh, so upside
It's
down.
upside down.
Wow.
Amazing.
And Lisa, is it true that all this is held together by paper joints? You didn't glue it or anything?
No, I can, let me put my camera, my document camera, and I'll show you. Yes, you can dismount it like this. Because what I am planning to do is put it in an acrylic box to display it. There you go. It's like this. You can also take the back part. No, it's good.
Oh, so you can actually take the whole thing apart and
Yes.
it will be flat. That's
Mhm.
amazing. So you came up with the architecture yourself? I mean, the design of the architecture?
Yes.
Wow, amazing. So cool. The other,
Beautiful.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
the other question that I had, Lizette, was that you, I think you mentioned that you enjoy playing with light and shadow. So just now you showed us a picture of your tunnel book, and then there was a light coming from behind. So were you just for the photography, you just use the light to shine through? Or you
No,
apply to make it?
Yeah, it's just daylight.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's daylight. It's how you position the camera and
Yeah, understood.
and
Yeah,
you take a
understood.
photo. Yes.
Good, good.
I'm
So
gonna
are
show
you,
you the other one because Eleanor wanted to know about
oh,
the other one.
yes.
This is the size, Eleanor.
Amazing. It's so
Mm.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Very I would like to say something
Yes,
that
Maria.
she is a master on paper cutting. She knew this way before coming into our workshop or whatever we call this, working together. But what is wonderful is that even if you're surprised by the size is what allows her to be so detailed.
Mm,
Because that, in a smaller scale, would be filigrane. It would be incredibly much more difficult.
Yes.
So the bigger the shapes are, the easiest in a way it is to be so detailed and to be able to do that. And all her work, even when I met her on the first time, she took my empty space workshop on my first online workshop. The very first time I tried to do the empty space online, I taught to everybody the process of the empty space and how to go through the different steps. And Lissette did a final project, which is now part of the things I show to my students. She did the whole process in paper cutting, and it is awesome. The way in which she presents her ideas, mixed always, well, at least till now, mixed with paper cutting. It seems like paper cutting is her thing, and she's adding this new dimension to calligraphy by using this technique, which she masters perfectly.
So I wanted to ask,
you, Marina.
thank you, Marina. I wanted to ask Lissette about the, the expressive lines that you used to, when you were trying to capture the memories of your mother. I know that for you, it was a very emotional process. And just now you explained that the tool that you chose was the Kohler pen, mainly.
Yes,
And was there a reason why?
yes, I feel completely free with the color pen. You can do whatever you want with it. You can do fine lines, you could do thick lines, and you can flow. It's very friendly for me.
So it was very express. I mean, it gave you the freedom to write expressively.
Mhm.
And some of the words were legible and some were not. So did you have to make a decision, like, I want some words to appear, or
No,
was it just about the
I
texture?
definitely didn't want any words to be readable.
Oh dear, why? Was it because it's very personal?
Yes, it was a
Oh,
very personal conversation.
I see. Understood. Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes I was writing and I stretch the words so you can the A or the B.
Right. Okay. So right now, are you able to decipher what you have written? Do you still remember?
I remember some things, but when I try to read it, I can't. Honestly, I can't.
Okay, but the emotions are there.
I just deliberately made those things in the root that says mama. Right.
Okay, wonderful. So
Because
that
I first do the top part of the writing, and then I went with the roots.
I see. Okay, so you told us that you're going to do a demonstration for us
Yes.
today? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Show you. Okay, in case you have printed this, I'm gonna do a quick demonstration on how I do a mock-up for my tunnel books. So in first place, when you do a tunnel book, you have to think of it as if you're making an scenery, and scenography. So you need a baseline or the ground, a base or the ground, main character, secondary character, something to accompany or maybe give depth to the scenography, and a background. So in this paper, I have like 5 frames that I'm going to work. I'm going to do, the final result will be this. Finally, I'm gonna cut it in half, but first I'm going to draw. So I'm going to make a forest. I'll start with some grass here. This is my baseline or my ground. In the second frame, I'm going to have the main character. In the third frame, I'm going to have a second character because I'm in the forest. I'm going to make an owl. I'm going to start with the background here. I'd like to have a tree, a big tree in the background. I'm going to cut some holes. And here I can have maybe some bushes. Okay, I will start. Going like this, my paper. Is somebody following me or you just seeing?
We're here watching you.
We're
Watching.
Oh, you're lazy. Nobody's doing a mock-up with me.
No, if we're doing that, we cannot watch. We can't watch and do. We'll watch the video afterwards and do with.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I have my frames, I'm going to cut them.
So if you were doing the original, that would be a good quality paper and would be
Yes.
one single sheet for the whole process.
Exactly. I'm going to show you. I already have one here. This is an 180 gram.
Okay. So when you did the big one, the one that you presented, did you work with a huge sheet of paper, like 56 by 76?
No, I guess that one I didn't make a mock-up because
okay.
it's like an A4 and I started trimming.
Yeah, working.
Because I knew
working
it
from
was
A4.
so much work that I didn't make a mock-up. I started making the final project
Yeah.
because it's a lot of work trimming all those words. Have my first frame.
The first frame is done.
Yes.
Also, another thing is that Lissette knows a lot of the tools that, remember that doing this is like with everything else. If you have the right tools, if you know how to manage these tools, then you will have a wonderful result. If you don't have the proper tools, you have to be a master just to be able to write with I don't know, with something that was not meant to be used for that. But so she enlightened me and the whole group about which were the best tools, depending on what you want to do. Cutting in circles is pretty difficult, so you can't do it with a regular cutter. Also, the X-Acto knife will, which is what she's using. No, now you're using.
Yes, it's a X-Acto knife.
It has a sharp point, so that allows you to pull the paper around and be able to cut it while you're moving the paper, all at the same time.
Yeah. We have a question actually about what scalpel blade and what handle are you using, and is this your favorite?
Yes, this was my favorite.
All right.
It's thick and the blade is very sharp.
Mm. So if you cut something by mistake, Lissette, what will you do? You have to start all over again?
Sometimes if you can manage to glue it from the back and it doesn't, you can tell that it's glued, I do that. Instead, I start all over again.
Okay, thanks. Understood. So Ojas is suggesting that there's a rotary cutter that can be used, and it's very smooth, is it? And can be used even on fabric. Okay, interesting.
Can I have the name, please?
Ojas can share the name or a link or something, and image.
Yeah, I have that, and it's not easy to manage,
No,
literally.
for me,
Crazy to manage.
same for me.
I'll show it to
I've tried the Alpha
Mm,
and
Marina is
I can
gonna
make
show
it
us.
work properly.
Marina is going to show us what she is talking about. Okay, let's say you're working really fast. My goodness.
Yes. A little trick when you do paper cutting is you begin with the tiny ones.
Mm.
So you have more stability with the paper.
Ah, I see.
Okay, so this is the one that is, it rotates. I don't know if you can see.
Oh,
Mhm.
ah, I see. Yes. Mm.
Remember that this is turning around and you are pressing this down.
Mm.
So those two movements are weird, to say the least.
Yes, and you
So-
can make it, when it rotates, it doesn't reach the beginning. I
Mm.
can make it work.
Okay, understood.
So what is easier, at least in my way of doing it, and I think Lissette does is the same. It's easier to move the paper rather than to move your tool while you're pressing and it's twisting. It's too
Mm.
much.
Mm. Understood. Thank you,
Okay,
Marina. Oh. So, Lissette, you have to have in your mind, like you have to visualize the way that the images will layer, right? Before, I mean, when you do the storyboarding, you're actually thinking about how it will appear one layer in front of another.
Yes. Maybe I felt not to show you how the image. Give me a moment, please. I failed not to show you how do I do my sketches.
Uh-huh.
Here's a sketch of the one I'm making.
Mm,
It's
I see.
the ground, the main character, the second character. These bushes for filling the space,
Mm,
giving depth to the frame, to the
Right.
and the tree.
okay,
I've
understood.
also made a cityscape.
Mm,
There's a hydrant,
mhm,
the main character. In this case, the second character is a car, the back of a car.
mhm.
Here
Building
is, how do you say semáforo?
signboards,
Lights,
lights, okay, lights,
street lights.
street lights, okay.
In the city in the back.
Mm. Okay, Kun wants to show us that this is her cutter that she uses.
Oh, that's interesting.
But that's
Mm.
for fabric.
Yeah, actually, this one is fabric, but I think OJ was talking about this type of the cutter, so I picked it out.
It works for paper too, yeah?
Thank you, Kun.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. It works on fabric as well. I've mostly used for fabric because when you're cutting in curved lines, it's easier to work this way.
Mm.
I find it really hard to cut fabric with scissors because it keeps on slipping.
Okay, understood.
I
Thank
tried
you.
on paper as well.
Mm. Mhm.
Okay, I'm about to finish.
Mhm.
We're hearing somebody's conversation.
Oh, sorry, my family is talking.
Excuse me if you're interrupting, but would it be a good idea to do the images maybe on tracing paper and laying them over the top to create an interesting composition? I mean, you're showing us a rough way to do this, but would that be an idea?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Lissette, Maria is asking whether it would help to use tracing paper to do the composition. So you have different layers. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
On tracing
Yes,
paper. So
yes, you can use tracing paper if that's comfortable for you. Okay. So I have all my frames already trimmed. I'm going to cut it here. Just 3 of the sections here. Now I fold this.
you have
Here,
purposely
this is
left
just
the corner
this is just-
uncut.
Sorry,
You have left that corner uncut.
and
So
cut.
that it will hold together. Yeah.
Exactly. Put a little glue here. Just to keep it in place. And remember, this is just a mock-up. Okay, and now I have my tunnel book here. This is a mock-up. And I've made the one with the city in good paper. So I have it here. I haven't glued it yet. Here you go.
Very nice.
And I have this, the back and the front of the book, and I can paste it here. I'm going to use wood glue.
This time we have a question. Is the paper hot press or watercolor paper or something else?
No, this is watercolor paper. thin watercolor paper.
When you mean thin, what is thin? 140,
180 gram.
180. Okay.
Yes. 180.
It's easier to cut. The thinner the
Yes,
paper,
yes. It's easier to cut than the thicker one.
Is that white glue you are adding on?
Yes, it's white glue,
White glue.
a little water to thin it.
So I can imagine that with this technique, actually we can, we can write calligraphy and, layer that as well. There are many different ways to apply this.
I think that is her contribution in a way to applying some other technique that is not regularly used in calligraphy to calligraphy.
Yeah.
And that is what I find most interesting, is when somebody has a knowledge of another discipline and blends it with calligraphy. That creates more personal and unique works, original in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I use this paper not to make a mess with the glue.
Kun has a question about why do you need to thin the glue with water?
Why?
Why do you need to thin the glue? You add,
So
you
it-
add
So
water to
it's
the glue?
more, so it can flow in the paper. It's
Oh.
not too thick.
I see. So it's not too thick and flows better.
There you go. You have your this. And you have your tunnel book. You can make little stories in a tunnel book.
Lovely.
Very nice. Very nice. Lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. This is very fun. There's a lot of things we can do with it.
Okay.
That was lovely.
You should think of an online workshop for that.
Great idea.
Great
Leila.
idea to go from step by step slowly for people who know nothing
think
about
about it.
paper cutting. It's just beautiful, amazing.
It is.
Thank you.
Did anybody else try? Wait, was anyone doing together?
It's so quick.
Yeah, it did go by really quick.
Yes, I was running.
Kun says she will try. Please tag Lissette. She's calligraphy land. Tag Lissette or the art of letters. Yeah. And then don't worry, because we have the recording. I will upload it and then you can slow it down or pause.
Okay. Everybody knows how to do the covers.
The covers.
The covers.
But show us.
Oh, I can show you. I'll show you how to glue it. You need the cover paper needs to be 1.5 centimeters all around.
You want to show us your desk?
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's what I was telling you. That you have the book board and the paper, and it has to have 1.5 centimeters or 2 maybe all around. So you put the glue on the board. This not so heavy. That's why I use water. You have to try to have the right amount of water so it doesn't dry too quick.
And how thick is the board for the cover? That looks
1.5
pretty thick.
millimeters.
It always depends on the size of a book. If you're
Yes.
doing a book that is A4, you will use a thicker board.
Okay.
That's exactly.
The smaller, the lowest grams.
Yes, this is thin because it's a very little book. But for the ones I use 2 millimeters or 2.5 millimeters.
Thank you.
Now you cut the edges like this. Let's make that better.
Is that a template you made yourself?
Yes, I made myself.
Ah,
That's really cool.
very cool. So many tips.
Yes, it's very easy to do. Now we do the sides. This. Always being careful not to put glue on the paper. You go like this to make it even on the edge.
Also,
With your-
so that the glue goes into the edge and sticks all the
Mhm.
way from top to bottom. Because
Yes.
sometimes it doesn't stick perfectly, and you have like corners coming out. It's, I don't know,
That's
you don't have to explain, but
And you use the bone folder to make it very, very nice and even. Again, you go with your paper and put some glue on the other sides. Do the same here. There you go. And then in the corners, you go like this. You put the bone folder to work.
I do that differently. I pull the
How do you do
corners
it?
of nails before, so that
Sorry?
they wrap. That I was taught something different. I pull the corners while you're wrapping the paper.
Mhm.
You pull with your nails the two corners inside, and then you fold it. So then you have covered the angle of the paper.
Oh, I'll try that.
Yeah, Lissette does it in the end when she's
Mhm.
pushing with
They go on top.
Yes,
Mhm.
she's modeling the angle. But if the paper is too
Goes on
thick,
top.
you won't be able to do that. So that's why you need to pull the corners before
On the inside.
the last folder. Yeah.
Eleanor is saying that Japanese paper, especially the good quality origami paper, is excellent for making covers because
Yeah.
it stretches a little, almost like fabric.
Yes, because they have in the back, I have some here. In the back, they have like cloth. You can see, it's like, yeah, it's like cloth. in the back. That's why it stretches.
Nice.
Great. Okay, now you know how to make the covers. There you go.
Thank you. That was
Thank you.
Very nice.
That was really
You're
nice.
welcome, my pleasure.
What was it that Nan was saying? Nan, were you asking a question? Did I miss your question? Are you there, Nan? Okay, no, I'm.
Hi, I was just asking if there was a particular scalpel and a particular blade number that she prefers for using.
No, it's just, I guess they are different shapes of the
Mhm.
blade. I've seen the ones that I flat, some rounded, but this is the one that I prefer. The one that is pointed.
Thank you.
And this handle that it's thick, because I've seen others that are thinner, like a pen, like a pencil. See the difference? This handle that is thick is very comfortable with this silicone grip.
Thank you.
I have experience when I'm doing some paper cutting that my hands really start to hurt after a while. Do you have any tips for like prevention?
No, just rest. Just rest. And maybe sometimes we put that pressure that it's not really needed.
Yeah, maybe it's true. True. Okay, any more questions for
Even sorry, Dorothy, even when you cut a thick board, you have to go, instead of going like 2 times very hard, you go like 5 or 7 times slowly, not making too much pressure.
Okay, that's good. Good to know. Yeah. Do any of you have other questions for Lissette or comments? No questions? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording here.